All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. It is time for the Wednesday webinar. This morning, we have something a little bit different, and I'm not just talking about the individual, but I'm talking about the product. We've done a lot of Medicare, a lot of life insurance, a lot of long-term care disability, but ACA, the Affordable Care Act, is something that you guys probably ought to consider adding to your portfolio. It is a big topic. It is a topic where you can build some residual income in, and it is something that I believe here at Impact we have underutilized. So I've asked Clay to come on. The reason I asked him to come on, last week, he was talking with one of our agents, Gabe Tovar, and he's showing all these tools and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I had no idea we had all these at our disposal. So I asked him to come on and just go through, all the tools that they have on their website that are available to them, to our agents. And so Mr. Peak, take it away, and I'll let you have the reins. And guys, any questions or anything, throw them in the chat, and we'll make sure we get all your questions answered today.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dennis. So glad to visit with everybody here with the Secure Insurance Group and the Impact Legacy Group. My name is Clay Peak. I'm with Peak Performance Insurance out of Greenville, South Carolina. And we've been doing Medicare and health insurance and life insurance since 1996. And probably served, 350, 400,000 clients in that time, about 8,800 agents working with us and 200 or 300 agencies. And we're glad to work with you, especially with Brian's group. We're really excited about it. We want to help you. Today's class is not in any way intended to persuade you to stop doing what you're doing, okay? First goal number one is you need to write more Medicare, more life insurance. I'm going to help you write more Medicare and life insurance by showing how this can enable you to do that, okay? This market is easy, it's fast, it's long. And so today I want to take a few minutes and talk about some principles that'll help you get familiar. If you're a person of a certain age, you know who this is. This is a guy who was there about the 50s and 60s, Alfred E. Newman. It looks like he's had a rough weekend. I'm gonna rough up your assumptions today about ACA. I'm going to punch them about the head and shoulders a little bit to get you to understand that this is a great market. Of course, I'll do it in Christian love. I want you to see what you're missing in this market. And at the end, you'll be glad I shared, because right now you're walking on dollars if you don't understand how this works. And so my job is to help point that out to you and show you how to reach down and pick them up. The first problem is that most folks have no idea how big, how massive, how opportunistic this market is. There's about 14.2 million people in the ACA market now, as compared to about 26 or 28 in the Medicare Advantage market, which is a wonderful market. We're also an FMO in that space. We believe in that space. The thing that's different is there's about 50 million prospects in the ACA market. It's a massive pool of unwritten business, and most folks don't understand that and don't understand how to address it. So here's the bottom line. In about the next 25 minutes, I want to establish for you and prove to you to some degree in the time that we have that ACA plans, first of all, the plans themselves are the deepest, richest, most comprehensive health plans ever sold in the history of the world. They're not lesser than, they're greater than whatever we sold before. And I say this from the perspective of someone who wasn't for it, who didn't agree with the way it came about, and spent my life selling comprehensive major medical PPO plans for the first 10,000 sales of my life. But I have to admit that these are the deepest, richest, most comprehensive plans ever sold. So the plan quality is not an issue, okay? Number two, these plans are guaranteed issue. They have no pre-ex. They have no dollar limits on the benefits they'll provide. Number three, it's easier, faster, and less complicated than you think. And that'll be the first thing I establish in a few minutes. Number four, it's a bigger market. It's more profitable. It's more secure. And we've got, as Gabriel noted with our team earlier, more tools that are available to help you that maybe you're not aware of. I'm going to share some of those with you this morning. So I'm going to go really, really fast. I won't get through all of it, and it's okay, because it's more of an introduction today, and I'll lead you to where you can see more of this discussion on our website. But let's talk about a few reasons why you should be in this market, not an exclusion of your Medicare and life sales, but in addition to, and how it will help both those markets do better. Number one, it's fast and easy. ACA is an 18-second quote and an 8-minute enrollment. You can complete the sale on the phone by yourself, no online recording, no signature required, no pins are involved, no faxes, no emails, no texts, unless you want them to be, but you don't have to have their signature, you have to have their permission. You can quote it fast, you can write it fast. So I thought, rather than tell you that, I would show you that. Does that make sense? So I'm going to pull up here and open My Health Sherpa link. It's a free enrollment link that all of our agents get. I'm going to sign into my account. Now, this would not be the public face. This is the face of the account that an agent sees when they log in. And on the right-hand corner, you'll see where it says quote on exchange, which means you might be able to get a subsidy to reduce your costs. So I'm going to quote there. And give me, if you would, a zip code where you're located this morning, and tell me what zip code I should use. Anybody?
64108.
Sorry?
64108.
64108. You ready to stop your stopwatches? To start your stopwatches? Go. 64108, because I told you you could do it in 18 seconds. Of course, it depends on how fast your internet works. And I'm going to put $25,000 and boom, stop. On the right, the quote is live. So if I scroll down, I'll see quotes. I'm not going to scroll down yet. I'm going to explain what you're seeing. I put in a zip code, an age. They used tobacco. In this case, it didn't. It was a single person, won the household, and their annual income. That's all I needed to get a quote. And when that green box, those green boxes on the right popped up, that means quotes are live if I scroll down. 18 seconds to get a quote. I probably did it in 9 or 10, but sometimes you have dependents. You have to type those in too. I'm learning two things at the right-hand side because there's two costs to insurance. What it costs to own it is your monthly premium. And it's telling me that my premium is going to be up to $523 less than it would have been if I buy this retail. So I'm selling this wholesale. Well, what do you mean? Because of their income and household size are entitled to some help from the federal government to lower the cost of their insurance by as much as $523. So it helps me with the cost of owning insurance because it is driving down the monthly premium. The second little box says cost share reduction. Because of the income bracket that person is, it's also going to help me with the second cost of insurance, which is what it costs to use it, deductibles and co-insurance. So if I choose a silver plan, it will actually reduce my deductible, my co-insurance, and my co-pays, should they choose that kind of plan. Now, when I start scrolling down the page, I start seeing plans and look at the first premium. It would have been $492, but it's $0. Okay, I keep scrolling. Oscar, okay, there's another Oscar. There's another Aetna. Great. Oh, well, here's one. This was 501. It's a 0 premium, has a big old fat deductible of $8,500. By the way, don't worry about that. I'll help you with that as well. And another $600 of co-insurance. That's the 20% or so. So $8,500 plus $600 of co-insurance means a total out of pocket of $9,100. It's a 0 cost doctor visit. So that's kind of nice. I really want to sell something with a doctor copay, or in this case, a doctor no pay, and $3 generic drug. So that's an illustration of a plan. Here's a plan that has a specialist copay for $125. So you see different kinds of plan offerings. Here's one with a $50 doctor, $100 specialist copay. So you can pick the one you like. So really quickly, I've shown you that the quote is fast. The prices in many cases are very cheap or 0. Half of our clients pay 0. Oh, aside. If you had a client who was paying $800 or $1,000 or $1,200 a month for health insurance, and you could get them to 0 or $200 or $400 or $500, do you think you could take the savings and sell some life insurance? You're welcome. All right, so moving on, I get to pick a plan. Now you'll notice there's lots of plans here, different carriers. I'm just going to scroll to the bottom of the page. There's about 10 plans, and look, there's multiple pages of plans. And one of the questions becomes, holy cow, Clay, how am I going to ever know all those plans? There's no way I can memorize. Aetna has 10 different plans. Molina has 11 plans. Ambetter has 53 plans. I'll never memorize that. Here's the good news. You don't have to. Everything you need to know about these plans is right here on this page. I see what the premium was and is. I see what the deductible out of pocket is. If there's a doctor copay, a specialist copay. If the client takes lots of medications, the drug formulary is right there. If they have to go to a particular doctor, the doctor's list is right there. If he's a civil engineer and wants to see every detail of the plan, I can click on the benefits and see all 67 or so pages of detail. I don't have to memorize the plans. I have to know how to read this site, this Health Sherpa site. And if he says, yeah, I want to do it, I click add to cart. Now, by the way, from that point, unless you type like this, you're about 8 minutes from being done. Okay, once he picks a plan or she picks a plan. Now, what you may do is you put the name, date of birth, and state in, and they may already be in the system. If they currently have a plan or have had one the last few years, they might be in the system, in which case you're making sure that they haven't changed houses or spouses or jobs or added or lost children. And if they haven't, then it makes that 8-minute enrollment about a 4-minute enrollment, and you're done. So all I wanted to establish was this isn't hard. It's pretty easy, and everything you need is right there. All right. That's point number one. You go back to the slide here. Point number two, almost half of the people who have ACA didn't use an agent. Okay. So about 7 million people are enrolled with no agent attached to them. By the way, the ones that do have an agent, half of those don't know their name. Maybe they bought it from a call center and they have no idea who the agent was. So when I call them and they say, I've already got ACA, do you have an agent? No. Or yeah, who is it? I don't know. That's easy. You can take that business. Now, some may say, well, Clay, I don't need your help. I did it myself. Well, here's some reasons why they need you. Okay. Because people who self-enroll often lapse the policy for one reason or another. Your services are free. And because they self-enrolled, they may not have chosen the plan with the best benefits. If they had kept scrolling and or understood what they were reading, they might have got for the same premium a plan with some copays or less out of pocket. They might have chosen a plan that really better met their provider list or their formulary list. And lastly, the most important reason why they want to use you is if they don't use you, they could have a massive claim not paid for. Well, Clay, that's contradictory because you said earlier it's the biggest, deepest, richest, most comprehensive plan ever. It is, but there's one big but there, but you must use the network. If you're dragged in unconscious by your left foot into the emergency room, no problem. It's a life-threatening emergency. You didn't get a choice. Cool. But if you had a choice where to get your knee or back or hip surgery, you have to use the network or it doesn't cover your bill at all. Number three, unlike Medicare, most ACA prospects are not married to their doctor and their drug formulary. Listen to me very closely. You are doing the right thing when you approach a Medicare client and you take that gallon Ziploc bag of drugs and that long list of doctors and you match them up first before you start talking about plans. That's what you should do. But what you need to know is there's about 10% of that market that don't care. They want the best value. So 90% really you've got to match the provider and the drugs, and 10% are like my dad. They don't care. They just want the best deal. Okay. Flip that. In the ACA market, most folks are young and healthy and they don't have lots of drugs. They don't have lots of doctors and they don't care. They want the best value, just so you know. So you don't start the conversation with who's your doctor and what drugs you take. You start the conversation with, listen, do you have some serious health issues? Take lots of medications, see lots of doctors. And when they say no, you stop and you show them the options, let them pick the plan they want. I know that's different than what you're doing. You're doing your market correctly. But in this market, you don't start that way. You ask the question because you do want to do it right. Do you have lots of health issues, take lots of medication, see lots of doctors? If they say yes, then you match them up. But usually they'll say, no, I just want the best deal. And so you don't spend 30 minutes looking up the one doctor they saw 15 years ago when they were 16, which they can't see now anyway because he's a pediatrician and they're in their 30s. So you don't waste time doing things that aren't helpful. Number four, there's no excessive CMS marketing guidelines. Let me just share with you, we keep the rules at Peak Performance, and I know that Brian and his team do as well. But in this market, just be appointed, tell the truth, and don't call someone if they're on a do not call list. However, you can call everybody who's not on a do not call list. You can door knock. It's in fact encouraged and very profitable. Okay, so what you can't do in the MA market, you need to do in this market. Wouldn't it be great if it were 2006 and 7? Because we were there the first year of national Medicare Advantage. You walk into an apartment complex or senior living place or neighborhood, and we'd write 10, 15 policies in a day. We just ping pong from house to house because you could. It wasn't until 2008 where the enhanced marketing guidelines happened. So wouldn't you like it if you could go from place to place and person to person and get referrals and talk to people? No, you can't do that in the MA market, but you can do it here, which means you can write a boatload of business in this space. Number 5, a lot of people, maybe even you, are unaware or disbelieving of the magnitude or existence of the subsidies. People are shocked when I tell them that in almost every zip code in America, a family of 4, parents age 45 and 2 kids making $75,000 can get a Blue Cross plan with a doctor copay for $0 a month. They're stunned. And if you just start quoting people, forget the sales process, just say, can I give you a quote? It only takes me a minute. You'll do it faster than a minute, obviously. It'll take less than a minute. And you quote them something that's $12 or $53 or $0 or $120. They'll be shocked. Okay. Couple age 60 making 60, $0 a month. Number 6, there's no annual. It's a good one. There's no annual per carrier certification. You do have to do a free CMS ACA certification. And we'll talk about what states later as we get into details about how to get going if you decide you like this, okay? But if you live in most states, 1 free certification. And by the way, when you come back year 2, it takes an hour or less. But there's no per carrier annual certification in this space. So it's easy in, easy stay. There's no annual separate you from your money test. Just the one CMS, which is basically when you return, click, click, read, agree. This year, I think we had a 10-question test. You had to make 7 of them right. It's very simple. The income, so let's talk about income, because some folks aren't here because they think it doesn't pay much. So what's the average sale for Medicare Advantage? The average sale is $301. Well, no, Clay, if their first year, it's 601 or whatever the number is. But that's only about 12 to 15% of all total sales. 85% of all sales are like to like changes. And that pays a renewal compensation of $301. Am I right? Yeah. And it's level for lifetime. In fact, it may increase a little bit every year, which is great. Okay. You need to think of ACA as an increasing income annuity in this way. It's not fast cash, not like Medicare or life or ancillary plans. Keep selling those. Sell more of those. That's your cash flow. But this is an increasing income annuity. I was doing a class for another group on Monday, just like yours, where the team has a weekly meeting. And they were going through their top 10 performers of the week. And then so-and-so did this and so-and-so did that. And a guy who I knew, Doug Moore, was called out. He was number 5 in the top 10. And Doug had attended a 2-day boot camp that I hosted in Cincinnati last spring. So I knew Doug, good guy, has 9 kids. Holy cow. No wonder he's so good. He has to be good. And he said, and Doug sold some life and some this and some that. And he had in passing 5 ACA lives. Cool. I kept thinking about that as they were talking. 5 ACA lives. What if he did that every week for a year? And some weeks he had 10, and some weeks he had none. Then he had 2, then he had 7, then he had 4, then he had 6, but he averaged 5 throughout the year a week. Well, let's talk about what that means, because some of you don't think ACA pays much. You don't understand how it works. ACA commissions vary greatly from state to state. I'm going to use a number as a rounded number, which may not be true where you live. The number I'm about to use is an illustration. Because I'm not good at math, I'm going to round up to a number. In some states, the pay is a little less than that. In some states, like Texas or Florida, it might be more than that. Okay, so I'm going to use $20 per member per month. That means an individual pays $240 a year. Pretty similar, a little less than MA. Now, typically, you sell about 1.7 sales per sale because there's a spouse, there's a child, or a family of 4. Okay. So if Doug made $20 per member per month and sold 5 a week for a year, well, that's 250 lives after a year, which times $20 is $5,000 a month or $60,000 a year. It didn't take Doug even an hour and a half to sell those 5 lives that week. If I just gave a little bit of effort to pick up the dollars that were sitting on the ground staring at me, after a year, I got enough every month coming in as earned to pay my mortgage, to pay my car, to pay my electric bill, and maybe my food, unless you have 9 kids like Doug. Of course, the average sale, as I said, is a little more than 1 because there's a spouse or there's some children sometimes or a family. The average sale is actually more than Medicare. So don't stop doing Medicare, it's cash flow. But while you're there, pick up the second sale. These plans auto renew every year unless you actively or they actively change it, and you're still paid. So if you sell them an Ambetter Bronze 3, whatever the heck that means in English at where you live, but if you sell that plan that's a 0 deductible with a $25 doctor copay, blah, 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 they're going to have the same plan next year unless somebody changes it, you, them, or another agent. You don't have to re-enroll them. Now, it's a good practice to have a conversation, but here's how you need to know. As a largely Medicare focused group, it isn't the same kind of visit that you have with Medicare where it might take you 2 hours to review multiple plans and to review things and to find one that matches doctors and drugs. It's a 10-minute conversation in this space. Did they move? Did they remarry, divorce, have extra kids, lost kids, change jobs? No? Okay. Then let's look at the plan. Oh, yours is still the best plan. Or look, there's another plan that's better, and you enroll them. It's a 10-minute conversation. And you have a good customer service experience. Hey, this is Clay. I'm your health agent. I want to help you. How you been? Good to talk to you again. Ask questions, change or keep the plan. But while you're doing that, the marketing reason why you're calling is you're going to get, and if you don't, I'm going to smack you. You're going to get 2 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 8 to 10 referrals from that client. Here's a hint. Every person ever written so far, for the most part, with maybe a 3 to 4% variation, either owns a business or works at a business that doesn't offer a group health plan. So when I talk to my clients every year, I say, by the way, where do you work? I work at the dry cleaners. Who's the owner? Frank. What's his number? So-and-so. Who are the people you work most closely with? Well, that's Phyllis and George. What's their number? Now I've got 3 leads because that client works at a place that doesn't offer group health, plus family and friends. That's why I'm saying you should come out 3 to 5 to 6 to 7 referrals on those people. And it isn't hard to re-enroll people every year. More than half our sales are 0. Okay. 80% of the quotes on healthcare.gov last year were under $10. The family, children, friends, grandkids of your Medicare and life clients need this. It's hard to get referrals in the Medicare world. In fact, you can't in the Medicare Advantage world. You have to find some way to say, they need to call me. You need to have your sister call me because I can't call her. And I want you to do it compliantly. But in this space, at the same appointment where you can't ask your Medicare clients, what's your sister's name and number, because you can say, do you have any kids or grandkids? Do they have health insurance? Let me call them. You can do that because this isn't Medicare Advantage, it's health insurance. Backwards, which means to go forward. There's 12-month selling. I'll talk more about that later, but lower income households or individuals can buy 12 months a year. Think of it like dual and LIS and chronic needs people. You can sell those 12 months a year. And there's also the thing about collapsing small groups. Sometimes you find an employer group, 10, 20, 30, 40 people, groups of under 50 employees that are being destroyed by the cost of health insurance. You know, you can collapse that group, terminate that group, and write them ACA plans. And now you're not fishing with a pole, you're fishing with a net. I want to hit 4 or 5 more quick ones, and then I'll stop and take questions and show you where to find some tools. Okay. By the way, when we collapse groups, there's about 50 million people in that space. There's about 14 million employer groups who have less than 50 employees. It's a massive group. And sometimes when you do that, you're saving the employer so much money because he's paying a lot toward the cost of that he'll often pay for dental and life and accident insurance And you'll sell those at no cost to the employee. The employer saving money, the employee saving money. They're covering family dependents they couldn't afford to cover before, maybe even getting a pay raise because they're not paying for their own insurance now. It's a win-win, and we'll teach you how to do that. We teach how to penetrate small businesses. We have tools, PowerPoints, training for that. And then there's these last two important points I want to share with you. The family glitch fix means that this year there's an eligible 5.1 million employees, the dependents of those who are offered an employer group plan can now get a subsidy if the employer version is not affordable. What does that mean? I'll point you to some classes because of the time we don't have time to talk about today. But if you have a client whose spouse works at Walmart, but they have a spouse and two children who are on the Walmart plan or can't afford it, you can sell them an ACA policy depending on the affordability of the employer plan. That's millions and millions of people. By the way, you should note that our open enrollment period goes until January 15, not December 15. So some of you who are involved in Medicare, there's still time to write a couple of hundred cases after the AEP for Medicare is over. And by the way, when that family glitch starts, we're going to see even more people engage because employers are going to shift benefits to encourage dependents to get an ACA plan. And I'll go to the last point I'll make. Let's see, here we go. In May of 2021, the American Rescue Plan Act increased the incomes that were eligible for subsidy. I'll give you a personal illustration and I'm done with my 25 points. I won't go any further. In 2020, when I was 60, not 63, Debbie and I bought a Blue Cross plan and we paid $1,600 a month for a bronze plan. Yeah, I know that's not cheap. Because at the time, if a couple made more than about $75,000 or $80,000, they were not eligible for any subsidy that would have lowered our premium. Okay, you made too much money. Well, once this law was passed, the same couple age 60, if they had made not 75 or 80, if they made $250,000, they would have gotten a subsidy. They are getting a subsidy. And instead of $1,600, it's about $880 for the same couple. But only about 8% of the country makes $250,000. What if they made 125? That's where your high, modest, high income, middle class, higher middle class people are. If we made at that time 100, well now, we were 60 now, made 125, our $1,600 Blue Cross plan would cost about $350. You can't buy a short-term medical for $350. All I want to tell you is that the subsidies are real, but they've been expanded to include higher incomes. They just made that permanent for an additional 3 years. That's going to retain, it's going to remain. And it's creating a massive market opportunity. I'm going to put a fork in that for now and point you to a place on our website to show you some tools. If you like what you see, if you want to take the next step, I'm going to show you how to do so. Let me move my cursor here. Let's see. My website is called peaktraining.com. Now, when you get there, you'll see on that page, you'll see a site called 12-month health sales. I'm going to pull that up real quick. In Dallas, this is a great tool that all your agents can use. Gabriel, all your agents can use. On this page is everything you need to be a successful ACA agent. From start, what is ACA and how do you spell it, to how can I write 1,000 or 2,000 lives a year. Yes, I will have several agents write 1,000 to 2,000 lives this year. I have several who've already surpassed that. I have some that will come close to cracking 3,000 cases, lives this year. What's 3,000 times 20? It's 60,000 a month as earned. Anyway, so there's a deeper version, there's a map to tell you where to go on this site. There's steps, 6 steps. Step 1 is an elongated version of the conversation we just had. Okay, it's called the Opportunity Show. And it's right there. And it's me going through the same points, but taking my time and explaining a little more, giving you more detail. Okay, PowerPoint's there, some family glitch documents are there. That's step 1. If you like what you see and say, Clay, I need to pursue this, then what you do is you watch step 2, ACA prep class. So right now, without calling Gabriel, without calling Dallas, you can hit 2A on peaktraining.com, 12-month health sales tab, scroll down, watch step 1, get the bigger picture. Go to step 2. Yeah, I want to do this. It'll tell you everything you need to do and know to start selling. You won't have any questions if you just rewind and watch and pause and take notes. Everything you need to be selling insurance is right there. It'll talk about the certifications, there's instructions. It'll talk about contracting, and Dallas and Gabriel can provide the links for contracting for you, how to set up your health Sherpa platform and get training. It's all right there. And then some classes, ACA for rookies, ACA Blast Off, ACA University. All that training is right there. Scroll down. If you appoint with all of the ACA carriers, you can email anybody on my team and you get access to our advanced training. When you get to step 4, only those granted access to advanced training can see what's beyond step 3. All you have to do is be fully appointed with us for ACA and email my team and they'll grant you access. Step 4, step 5 has marketing tools, family glitch training, nonprofit training for churches, schools, et cetera, private schools, Christian schools, parochial schools, and then how to collapse groups 12 months a year. That one has a small paywall, $79, but everything else is free and open access until you get fully appointed. You can't see below step 4. And we'd love to help you. So if you liked what you saw, just as I finished, I'll answer any questions because our time is up now and I've gone too long. Go to peaktraining.com. Get a bigger picture, watch the step 1 so you catch the stuff I didn't share this morning. If you say, yep, that confirmed it, I want to do this, go to 2A. It will tell you step by step. How am I going to get certified? How do I get contracted? How do I set up my health enrollment platform? How do I get some training? It's all there in 2A. All right. Dallas, I'm open for questions.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've been answering some in the chat here. The big question: how do we get contracted? I dropped a Calendly link in the chat. If you would like to get contracted, please schedule a time to get with Sean. Sean is the one that initiates the contracting, and you can set up a Zoom with him. He'll go get all the information and all that stuff, and then he will put you into the contracting process and get you going. Gabe, I know we've been working on, Gabe's a little bit of a special case, but we're working on that, getting that going. And then Ying, same thing. But Josh asked, how can I know if my contracts are in or not? Please send Sean a Slack message and he can check on the status of any of your contracts. Any other questions, guys?
I'm going to give you guys your link here, the link that's for Secure Insurance Group. There it is. I'll put this in the
You want to drop
chat
that in the
box.
chat?
If I can open it here. Come on. Sorry. Trying to find the chat. It's fighting me. Here we go. That's the link. If you hit that link, that is the link specifically belonging to Secure Insurance Group. Let me open that back up, and I'll show what it looks like just to help you there. Can you see my site now? My screen? Okay. So let me get rid of this.
Now, what, guys, I do want to say this. If you have an upline, for example, Ying, you have Tyra, please don't go on here and just fill this out because we have to make sure your upline is all appointed and done and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So
well, here's the thing. This is the Secure Insurance Group site. And whoever the manager, if it's Gabriel or whoever it is, you put that in. Even if the manager hasn't completed their contracting, we can still take care of the manager and still appoint you in this space. It's weird. It's weird. It's not like life insurance where the manager has to be appointed. We'll take care of the manager. We have a way of ghosting him in until he finishes his stuff, her stuff. So put your direct, whoever the next level above you. If you're 3 levels below Gabriel, put the one that's above you, not Gabriel's name. Don't skip the managers directly below. Whatever your structure is, put your direct upline manager in there. And all you'll see, you notice there's no Medicare links here. There's no life links. It's just under 65. That's all we do with you. And when you go to the site, there's actually a little map. You can click on the map. You can see what's available in Texas, get all of them. And you'll see that when you do the step 2A ACA prep, it'll walk you through all of this. But I'm just saying it's all there for you to see, and it's very simple. And you'll be able to get appointed and write lots of business. Once you click what you need, whether you're new to, or transfer, it'll take care of you. By the way, another thing you should know, you'll see Aetna, you'll see United Health, you'll see Cigna, and you're thinking of those as Medicare names. This is a separate contract. It's not related to your senior contract. That stays with your current team. This is a separate Aetna ACA, United Health ACA, Cigna ACA, totally unconnected to your Medicare. I'm not asking you to change. I don't want you to change it. I won't let you change those contracts. It's a separate ACA versus, so don't hesitate or pause when you see a familiar name like Aetna or United Health or Cigna. It's a separate thing altogether. And when you hit submit at the bottom of the page, when you hit submit, our team gets that and starts responding within a day or two, depending on the volume we get. Some of the carriers are really backed up. Just so you know, Cigna, among others, are really, really backed up, but our team will respond pretty promptly, start sending you links and emails and things like that. And you'll see more of that when you watch the ACA prep class, but just know this, some of the carriers are having a hard time keeping up because there's such a volume of people interested in the market this year. Any other questions?
Yeah, we had a couple here. Does my upline have to have a health license?
Life accident and health. I do need to have a life accident health contract, appointment. Yeah, Dallas, let's talk about that one. That may be an issue. So we want to make sure we take care of them. We can still appoint you under Secure Insurance Group. We need to talk to your manager, get them to get, so we can compensate them appropriately. You need to make sure we can get them that licensing. Because we want to take care of all those managers who work hard and take care of their agents.
Okay, and then the next question, if I want to transfer, since I already have a few carriers contracted but have no apps submitted yet, can I just click transfer on those?
Click transfer. It won't just transfer. You'll have to request a release from nearly all those people. And they're in a blackout period right now, but go ahead and request it so that when it opens in the spring, they can move. You have to have a written release from the top of the contract. So call the agent pipeline or the agility or the Messer Financial, whomever it is. So would you kindly get me a release for these several carriers? As soon as the blackout is over, I want to move to Secure Insurance Group, et cetera. But that'll have to be something you'll have to manually do by getting a release.
Perfect.
And it opens you up to the training tools that they don't have, frankly. And they're great people, but they don't have these tools for agents because most of them never sold. Okay.
Yeah.
They sold about 10,000 people face-to-face over the years. And so I have a way of helping you do that better.
Very nice. All right, guys, any other questions, anything like that? I know a lot of you, this is like the first time. I had one guy ask me what's ACA stand for, and that's our fault. It's Affordable Care Act, right? So, and that's okay. And that's what I love about this site. That's why I wanted to have Clay on this morning is, like he said, this can take you from how do I spell ACA to how do I sit down with 2,000 people a year. So I love that. Get on there, use the tools that you guys have. This is incredible. So, and I learned stuff today, so that was great. So. All right, guys, if there's no other questions, Clay, thank you again for your time. And we'll keep going, guys. We'll have Clay back on maybe every other month or something just to keep going. We can get you going.
Because of the family glitch and the opportunity to collapse overpriced small groups, it's a 12-month market. So in the future, let's talk a little bit about how the collapsing of groups and family glitch can make you lots of sales 12 months a year. Okay.
Now, that is one question I had. So I'm going to learn something again, guys. Take the and you may have spoke about this. I do apologize. I had other phones ringing and everything else. But so what you're talking about with the family glitch in the past. So well, we've got employees here at Secure, right? We offer health insurance, right? But their spouses don't have health insurance. In the past, that spouse could not get on ACA because they had something available to them through their employer's health insurance. You're saying that glitch is gone.
So if the employee is offered an affordable plan by their employer, the employee is not eligible for a subsidy. But if dependents who are not employees are not offered an affordable plan through their employer, in this case, your group, there's no penalty to the employer, but now they become available to get a subsidy if they financially qualify. So now it's income driven. So in the past, let's say your employee costs us $600 a month, but to add the spouse and children was another $1,200. And someone making $60,000, that's not affordable. It has to be a little less than 10% of their total monthly income. Well, that's 20% of their income a month, you know? So now if that's the case, and that spouse and dependent, he doesn't work or she doesn't work somewhere else that offers a group health plan, they can come and get a subsidy. And we're seeing spouses and dependents get $0 premiums, $20 premiums, $50 premiums, $100 premiums, and it's a massive, massive market. The family glitch and the expansion of subsidies opened 9.9 million new prospects just this year. And it's estimated another 5 million prospects additionally for the next 6 or 7 years. It's a massive market shift.
So just so I'm clear, in the example I used, let's say Mary has health insurance through Secure Insurance Group, and it's considered affordable, but Mary's husband does not. He is eligible to go, and no matter what, how much it is, or he can go and get on healthcare.gov and run it.
Anybody can buy ACA at full price. If his income is in a certain bracket, though, he can now get a subsidy, which he wasn't able to do before.
Right, right. Perfect. That is huge, guys. I don't know if you understand. I bet you we turned away 100 people last ACA, last open enrollment period, because their spouses had group health.
Yeah. But
you're right. Most places will cover half of the employee, but they will not help cover anything on the employee's family. And it makes it very, very unaffordable.
And sometimes even when they do help cover dependents, it's still not affordable by the guidelines.
Right, right. Okay.
So that's all at step 5. Family glitch training, nonprofit sales training, some of those other tools are all there at step 5.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, Clay, this has been very informative. And guys, get out there. I'll never forget. See, I'm always the last to the party, right? I make a big entrance, but I'm the last to the party. I'll never forget, we had an agent come in and he said, "Are you guys selling Affordable Care Act?" And I said, "No." This is back when I was selling. I'm like, "No, not really. It's, what do you get, $20? He goes, "Dallas, he goes, I have over $10,000 a month coming in residual income." And I'm like, okay, you have my attention, right? So
a family at 4 at $20 a month is $960 a year, say $1,000 a year. Get 100 of those and you're a 6-figure income.
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, there's people out there. Guys, I'm an insurance agent and I didn't know about the family glitch. Do you think your clients know about the family glitch? They do not. They just remember last year we tried, it didn't work. So why would we try again this year?
I'll put a website in this real quick. Here's one site, familyglitchfix.com. Here's another. These are marketing sites, but they're also awesome educational sites. Good for you and your agents.
Nice. Okay.
You learn a ton there, and you can eventually use this site to help communicate to employers, to nonprofits, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So those two sites, familyglitchfix.com, nonprofithealthexchange.com, are really great educational sites, but really they're marketing sites. That might be
perfect. All right. Well, Clay, thank you again. Thank you very much. This has been great. We will get everybody going. And guys, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great week. Let's finish strong. We'll see y'all.
Take care. Bye-bye.